I'm very lucky to have the Movement Watch Company as a continued sponsor, and I've just ordered their brand new monochrome edition of my favorite desert model to add to my pretty decent watch collection from them thus far. I like the watches because of their modern take on classic designs and their reasonable prices. I also identify with the founders of the company who dropped out of college with a crazy idea and built a company from scratch that has now sold over 1 million watches in over 160 countries. It really is a clean design, and I've seriously been getting compliments ever since I put them on, and you can get yours too for a nice discount by going to mvmt.com and using the code HOOVIES15 for $15 off. And I've also done pretty well giving these away as gifts for my girlfriend example, and yes, she's real, so keep that in mind that Movement watches and accessories make for great gifts. Go to mvmt.com and support this channel by using the code HOOVIES15 for $15 off, as now is the time to step up your watch game. Now, back to cars. This Corvette really is a whole new world to me, as it only cost a little over $500 to sort out all the mechanical problems and make this thing a totally functional daily driver that's track ready for the weekend. As you all know, my relationship that I normally have with my cars is more like throwing wads of cash into an endless dumpster fire, so I'm pretty smitten with my new Corvette. I don't understand why people make fun of these so much and are so quick to call them midlife crisis mobiles, as there is a lot to like with this thing. Personally, the C5 is my favorite generation of Corvette, as it still has its own very unique styling that made it unmistakable for anything else, and was really the last generation to do that. But the C5 is still a very modern car and an excellent performer. The newest generation of Corvettes are certainly in the supercar level of looks and performance, but they look like Italian exotics as well, and I miss the days of the Corvettes being unmistakable for anything but a Corvette. This thing isn't trying to be anything else other than a Corvette. I'm also a big fan of the pop-up headlights, and this is the last generation of Corvette to have them. That's really all this thing has in common with the previous generations of Corvettes, other than the big V8, of course, but even the drivetrain of the C5 is way different than the previous generation, as they chose to mount the transmission in the back, which means this car has more weight in the rear, and the 405 horsepower V8 engine can sit further back in the engine bay for better weight distribution. A lot of other little tricks help this thing get some really impressive performance numbers, even by today's standards, like a 4-second flat 0 to 60 and its high G-force tolerance in cornering. But what I really like about the C5 is how easy it is to explore these limits thanks to its traction control and active handling system. Now that I'm in here, we can address the interior, which is most people's biggest gripe about the C5. And yeah, it's kind of hideous, but it's functional. I found some good used seats actually from a wrecked Corvette for $700, as before my seats were just so uncomfortable. The foam had fallen out of the bottom and they were just unbearable to sit in for more than a few miles. So this car is actually pretty comfortable to drive now. Oh, music. And annoying bongs. Yes. Maybe it's because these were more expensive than the Japanese performance cars or Ford Mustangs. Otherwise, I don't really understand all the hate on the interior quality. Everybody was getting their plastic parts back then from the Fisher-Price catalog, even some of the Europeans. I'm really happy that when I started up, I no longer have the warning messages blaring about the ABS and the traction control. The car wizard was actually able to repair this himself by resoldering the computer back together. He's a wizard. A wizard. Additionally, he replaced the blower motor, so I have heat and AC now, and he replaced the broken seats. This all cost me in total with the seats about $1,200, and I still have to pay to replace the $250 windshield, but I got off really easy, and this never happens. Usually the second video I make on a new purchase describes how badly that I've screwed myself, and now I have a totally sorted car for really cheap. I'm getting the appeal of Corvettes right now, let me tell you. There is one cool thing that this old Z06 has that doesn't work, and that's the heads-up display. But I was kind of anxious to get this car back and not have the dashboard all torn apart, so I'll probably fix it later. It'll be another $400 or $500 at the most. It's also missing its volume knob, which is annoying. and the interior could use a good cleaning and some floor mats, but otherwise, this car is totally track ready. The wizard looked things over and he bled the brakes and he gave it a clean bill of health. Now, the main justification I gave for purchasing this car was to give my recently LS swapped Porsche a challenger for the upcoming drag strip and the track days, but I can already tell it's not nearly as fast as my LS swapped Porsche, so it's not really going to be a fair fight on the straights. My Porsche's engine computer is an aftermarket performance one, so it gives it an extra 30 horsepower. Maybe I should buy one for the Corvette just to make it a little fair. Still, I don't want to go too crazy modding because my Porsche also has a much more free-flowing exhaust and an intake. But I really want this to be a fair comparison because I'm curious if my Frankenstein of a Porsche that was just sort of a hack job can beat a car that had millions of dollars worth of engineering and research and development thrown at it to be the ultimate track car in 2002. And that's what this Z06 is. The other variable is going to be this idiot, so I need to figure out that as well. Maybe I should invite somebody along with me with some actual driving skills so we can switch back and forth between cars during the events for maybe different drivers' perspectives. Or probably just to humiliate me in my own cars. So now we've arrived to the part where I'm supposed to come up with 5 things that I hate about my Z06, although I'm not sure if I've rattled off 5 things that I've liked in an orderly manner. But anyway, the paint job is the only thing that has me a little bit peeved about this thing, as the car looks great in pictures, and it did get a very nice glossy paint job recently, but whoever did this didn't even bother to remove the Z06 stickers on the fenders. What else? What else is wrong? What else? Oh, the window tinting in the rear window is cloudy, and like I said, the volume knob is missing, so that's 3 things, and the key fob is missing, so that's 4, and the last thing, maybe my friends have started calling this car the Little Blue Pill, and that name is starting to stick, which is really annoying. Thank you for watching.